Lifting weights will make me bulky. That is a myth that I hear all the time. Okay. So first of all, I think we all have our definition of bulky. We all have our own definition of bulky. Okay. If your definition of bulky is that you've gained muscle, well then, and that's all it is, well then, yeah, you'll get bulky, right? But you gotta clarify, what does it actually mean and to get bulky? I'll tell you what normally happens, especially for women, because now this is coming from women, but it also comes from men. Okay, men, it's surprising when I hear it, but I always forget how common that is for men to say, "Oh, I don't want to be a big bulky bodybuilder," right? Well, truthfully, nobody wants to be a big bulky bodybuilder unless you're like 18 years old and you don't know any difference, right? Or 16. But very few people want to actually be that big, okay? And it's not going to happen, okay? But let's just talk about what happens, especially with women, okay? What normally happens is you've got a woman who has never lifted weights before, who's never done anything. She wants to lose body fat. She's got extra fat around her thighs. She's got extra fat around her arms, okay, the back of her arms, whatever the case may be, okay? And when you start lifting, okay, you're building your muscle is going to build. Yes, that is going to happen. Your muscle will build. And what happens is you have your muscle, and then on top of your muscle, you have your fat. So if all you do is focus on building muscle and you don't focus on losing fat, then what's going to happen is your muscle is going to build and your fat isn't being lost. And so you're going to feel bigger. Your jeans are going to fit tighter. Your shirts are going to fit tighter because you're not losing the fat. Okay. So your bulkiness the problem isn't that you're building muscle. The problem is that you're not losing the fat, okay? Now, truthfully, this is just sometimes a process that some women have to go through where you will build muscle at a faster rate than you will lose fat. But eventually, over time, you got to keep sticking with it. Eventually, what happens is because you've built that muscle, you've increased your metabolism, because you're eating well and you're eating the right things, then you will start to starve away that fat. And over time, you will start to shred away that body fat. And then you're left with what you like. But typically the first 6 weeks, if you've never lifted weights before, and that's just not something you do, the first 6 weeks, you're going to gain muscle way faster than you're going to lose fat. Okay, so if you say lifting weights gets me bulky in the first 6 weeks, well, yeah, because you haven't focused on losing fat yet, right? But over time, over the next 6 weeks, if you stick with it, you will definitely start to shred away that body fat. And what you're left with is a nice, lean looking muscle, right? Okay. Oh, that's another myth. I want to build lean muscles. Okay. That's not on my list, but I want to build lean muscle. Muscle is only lean. Okay. Very rarely is muscle extra fat. Okay. All muscle is lean. So if you're building muscle, you're building lean muscle. Okay. So just don't ever say that. Okay. Just say words to the wise. Don't say that you want to build lean muscle, because that's the only kind of muscle that you can build. Okay.